Juliana Hotels, they're elegant and timeless. They blend art, culture, and deeply personal guest experiences. And they continue to set the bar for what boutique luxury truly means. Before we dive into strategy and some industry trends, I would love to start with something a little bit more personal. Can you share a little bit about your own journey into hospitality and how the vision for Juliana Hotels came to life?
So I have a background in sales and marketing, and the way that my journey at Juliana began is our owner, Eric Cléton, for me to come and have a look at the hotel to see what we could do on the marketing side, making sure to reposition the brand and sort of elevate it because the hotels in themselves are really gorgeous hotels. I really love them. However, the presence online constantly needs to be reinvented, elevated to fit the needs of discerning consumers. So basically, that's how I came to join the adventure.
It is amazing, and thank you for sharing that. I love hearing the why behind a brand like Juliana. It gives so much more depth to everything we will discuss today. So, with that in mind, let's explore the broader topic of today's episode: how independent hotels can stay true to their identity while thriving in a highly visual, agency-saturated market. How are guests' expectations evolving beyond the influencer content and visual branding? What's your opinion?
What you just said is key, the why of the structure. It's really, really important to have it down, make sure that you know why you're doing what you're doing, and then being able to translate that. So either in our messages, in our industry standard, in the service, in the way we train, um, you know, collaborators. So I think you need to start with the why and then let it flow throughout every platform, every document, every interaction with the guest. So that was the first thing that I did is try to understand the why. Once I did that, obviously the general manager, we worked very closely together. And so he made sure to reinforce it within the teams. And my job was to make sure to craft and design messages for our online platforms, so either social media, our website, in the agencies as well, making sure that we communicate the right level of positioning. It's all science, as you go, you learn. And I think that's the way you differentiate yourself from all of the influencer content, which some of it is really good and really helpful. I think you need to make sure to stay authentic, relevant, and play to your strength, which is competitive advantage, the why, make sure you stay relevant and different.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And this is a very professional answer. And this is what it keeps. And that this is how, we always say the look and feel of hotels in a digital environment when somebody is visiting a website, the emotional footprint that you want to make in your clients and knowing also your audiences and their needs and their pains and trying to cover all this. What role does in-house storytelling, like a thoughtful design and cultural connection now play in driving direct bookings? Another topic that we discuss a lot with all our clients is the direct bookings. So what role does the in-house storytelling play in that?
I think that even beyond the structure and the hotel itself, what is the most important to me is the people and the culture that you instill within the teams, making sure that every interaction they have with the guests reflect the positioning, the storytelling that you're trying to build or reinforce. I would say 100% the people, making sure that everyone subscribes to that culture, making sure that everyone is included and that everyone knows how to communicate it then in their position and with the guests.
Amazing. And how do you think can independent hotels we connect mainly with independent hotels of a certain level because it's the real story, it's the real people behind brands that it's a different concept, it's the different structure that these independent hotels are going through. So how can independent hotels protect their brand identity and maintain high visibility without over relying on external agencies or third-party tools?
I think it all circles back to everything that we're saying, which means don't try to be Hilton, don't try to be this sort of big brands, big groups, because obviously the value proposition is different, right? So the guests that are going to come to your hotel know exactly why they're coming to independent boutique hotels. So play to that and make sure that in your message, you sort of own everything that you're doing and this is your marketing message. This is your strengths essentially. So I would say making sure to stay authentic to that and being in line and aligned with your value proposition.
As of collaborations, you are the one filtering who you will be collaborating with, like all the influencers, the PR of the hotels. All you as a company, you do have three.
Yes. So the Juliana Group is present in Brussels, Paris, and Cannes.
How do you find the modern traveler looking for a luxury boutique hotel? What are their expectations nowadays when they, from landing on a social media like account for Juliana Paris, for instance, their expectations and the whole journey? What do you get as feedback? What are their expectations?
Yes. I would say when it comes to communicating, are two things that are really, really important. The one is content, making sure that the content fits the hotel and it conveys a story that is real. And the second is format, making sure to not rework the photos, the videos, make sure that it really is true to what you are selling. And so that's the same thing when we pick out influencers that we work with and content creators. We want to make sure that their approach to content creation is really authentic, that the audience is an audience that will look for the things that we have. We don't want to speak to the many. We want to speak to the right people. When you speak to everybody, I feel like you're speaking to nobody at the same time. So we want to have people and content creators that are true channels to our audience. And therefore, the vetting process is really important. The content needs to be right, the format needs to be right, and the audience needs to be the right one.
Even if all three properties are under the same company as umbrella, as brands, but I assume each audience is different comparing to the location, comparing to the look and feel of the hotel. But there has to be that subtle, like, echo of Juliana in everything you guys do, which is
We communicate
amazing.
very differently from one hotel to the other. Cannes is a very big hotel of 165 rooms. Paris is a more on the confidential side, so the messages are different. And Brussels is slightly larger. Boutique hotels, 43 rooms with a large pool, a big spa. So it's a different clientele, it's a different market, and therefore a different way of speaking, a different tone of voice.
I think that having in-house marketing with a lot of independent hotels, sometimes we come across they do, but now I come across someone very professional and we speak the same language. Have you managed to increase your direct bookings comparing to the bookings that they come from the big booking engines? So you just try to kind of own the relationship with the client a little bit more. How are you doing there?
We completely restructured our website and in the messages and in the way that we displayed the photos and in the way that we imagine the customer journey, we want to make sure to streamline everything. So our former website was slightly more complicated with lots of videos that were taking a lot of time to load. And so it was a bit of a heavier website. For this one, we stripped it down to the bare minimum. And so the experience on it is very fluid, and the way we communicate with the clients. is meant to be very fluid as well. I don't want to say anything. Yes, exactly. In 6 months, we increased the direct booking from to 15%, 15% more direct bookings. It's a nice result. Are continuing the efforts, but so far what we've done is really paying off.
Of course. And this is what we see also from our point of view, like having worked with uh, five-star hotels in the luxury field, that it's doable even in 3 months to reach like 35% if you have a user-friendly um, uh, website, and the whole journey, customer journey on making the booking is like seamless. It's a seamless experience with the footprints that you want to put as a brand, and your brand identity is more clear. Everything becomes more clean. Like the aesthetic is more clean. Everything is more clean. And I assume that part of that progress will be also to after the booking, right? When the whole journey has finished, your marketing continues. It doesn't stop there, right?
It does. This is something that we do need to get better at, but we are already using some of the tools at our disposals to offer upgrades, to make sure that the clients, before they stay, know who to speak to if they want to book anything, any activities, restaurants, transportations. They show me, you know me. We know we're trying to make sure that we know the clients. So we are constantly sending them resources. We don't try to be too much. We try to be there just so that they know that the service level that they're going to get is up to the standards that they're expecting.
And you've seen in the last years change in the client's behavior as of the experiences. Do they ask for more things to do? For instance, in Paris, which there is so many things to do, even in Brussels, art, and also in Cannes, of course. Do you see any shift in the client's behavior around experiences, or pretty much it's the same?
It's difficult. There are so many parameters and data coming at play here. Last year in Paris was the Olympics, so the behavior was slightly different. In Brussels, we do have an increase of demand in services. I feel like the more we go and the more generalized the content creation has gotten, people expect a higher level of service just because we are being flooded with content all of the time. And with these standards that are being depicted online, that the clients, when they come to the hotel, are expecting a full board service everywhere from start to finish. So either at the hotel, but also online. We're not being compared to other hotels. We're being compared to Airbnb. We are being compared to Apple when it comes to digital experience, because these users know that when they're online, they can expect certain settings, certain functionality of the website. And so we have to align to those standards when it comes to online presence. Our competitors are not the other hotels. Our competitors are the digital native, such as Airbnb, etc. So the expectations have risen also in the digital space.
Course, of course. And I think whoever is going to act, the faster you act, and now with AI and, the balance between AI and the human touch in the whole customer journey, which has to be someone very conscious about, so the user feels that it's always supported by technology, but always there is a human element there that makes everything more comfortable and more real. I think these are the companies that they will be able to take advantage of technology and use it the safe way without also overloading the user or make it feel a little bit foreign.
That's the thing. I feel like we do have to balance the right level of innovation that the user expect and the right level of service of human touch and authenticity that the user also expects. So I feel like it's going to be a challenge in the next coming month, years to find the right balance.
And it's beautiful to see the great people using, like, on an ethical side, technology, first of all, and all these tools, but also never forgetting the importance of the human touch, as you mentioned, because hospitality and hotels is like opening your home to people,
Yeah.
and that has a lot of things, including into that. That was incredibly insightful, Francois, and thank you for the transparency, the inspiration, and your valuable time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a nice discussion.
It's something very new. We've been in the industry for years and worked with some of the innovative companies. We keep the standards. It's not for the stars so much, 4 or 5 stars. It's more about the philosophy behind the hotels and just supporting the independent hotels more than anything else. And as a token of thanks, we'll be sharing like a few professionally edited podcast shorts for these episodes that your team, you're happy to serve internally or wherever you want. And it's like an internal like storytelling. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nikolina. Thank you for the invite.